Hello everyone, and welcome back to Make Believe, where we're playing the house in Fata Morgana. Last time we finished the story with Giselle and Michel. However, it was not as it seemed, as the white hair girl apparently never was a thing, but instead it was the black hair girl, the maid. Though I don't know how that would fit into the other stories, because the two of them would interact in those. Maybe it's just this story never had the white hair girl. And now we're trying to explore her past memories that she does not remember. And also, I just remember that there were three save slot that I was using. Whoops. It had been several days since I left the cabin. And I could still see it when I closed my eyes. The people lined up on the grand font, awaiting entry, eager to start a new life there, dreaming with hope. It was a city people were willing to pay high taxes to live in. If you were a performer, you could get some of those costs shaved down a bit by putting those skills to use. The capital was harsh on those who wanted in, and apathetic about all who left. And apparently I'm one of those. It was composed of a powerful nobility and clergy, wealthy merchants and bankers, and a large population of people. And it was a city that I had called home for a long time. I didn't know much about where I was heading. Yes, that's... Oh, there we go, Giselle. Guess this one she has to dimension? Ooh. Okay, new music. I'm liking this music so far. It's getting foggy. Looks like it might rain. Maybe we should take a little break. You want to keep going? Oh, alright then. The coachman was frustratingly taciturn. He acted as though he had gotten stuck transporting a prisoner. Oof, what a comparison. Though that was hardly a stretch. From his point of view, I was nothing more than a criminal. Okay, maybe not much of a comparison, though. What is this whole criminal talk? Even at times he would acknowledge I hadn't said anything. He made no effort to hide the scorn in his eyes. To pretend he didn't regret ever taking this job. And I would just fall silent again. The road was gradually getting narrower. We had long since left the paved city roads behind, and were now traveling along a couple of worn-down grooves in the forest. How did I end up here? Why was I being subjected to this? I was done thinking about it. The more I thought on it, the less fair it seemed. The more I remembered, the worse it hurt. All I could do anymore was close my eyes and weather the storm. Deep within the dense woods, a mansion appeared before us, like the world waiting to view after a dream. Yep, there's the mansion. It didn't seem to be an especially large house, but it had obviously been constructed with a great deal of care, and it was, thankfully, not standing in ruins. This deep in the forest? The carriage came to stop, and the coachman climbed down, signaling with his chin for me to get out. Thank you very much. You must be tired after such a long journey. This is the mansion I'm looking for, yes? But the driver didn't even acknowledge me, getting back into the carriage and setting off into the forest. He seemed to want to get as far away from here as quickly as possible. He could have said something. Oh well. That was about all I could say anyway. Oh well. I couldn't blame anyone for my being here. or for his wanting to get out. I should get going, I guess. Getting a better look at it, the house windows were, strangely enough, all shuttered. It's probably dark as pitch inside. Does no one live here? But if that's the case, then why was I placed my hand on the front door. Such a big door. What if I couldn't get in? Had no idea what else there was in this area. If the door didn't open, then I would die out here in the forest. I've come to accept much, but I was not ready to forfeit my life just yet. Please open. It's not locked, I guess. The door was heavy, and though it seemed to protest my attempts to enter, it don't open much easier than I was expecting. I was worried over nothing. Looking in, I had the strangest impression that light was being swallowed up into dimension's depths. Rather than go inside, it felt as though I was about to step outside the boundaries of this world. When I closed the door, it was so dark I couldn't even tell where I was walking. I wonder if the window's open. Though I managed to fumble my way over to a window, it was slightly shuttered, and the shutters caked with rust. I wonder if this is a retelling of the last story. I was probably not getting it open without a fight. Darn, not a hint of light. I couldn't even see my hand wave in front of my face. It felt as though the floor would fall out from under me, and I would sink into eternal darkness if I didn't watch my step. Fighting back that fear, I slowly walked forward, tracing the wall with my hand. There was a door at the end of a long corridor. I pulled it open, and a wisp of bone-chilling air brushed past me. It was too dark to see anything, but I could feel something different present in the area than the rest of the house. Uneasiness gripped me. Hello? Is anyone there? Please, don't tell me it's actually abandoned. I suppose I can't know without looking around a bit more. My voice simply disappeared into the void. No response. As I pushed forward through the freezing air, for a split second, I spotted a shimmer of light. Squinting my eyes, I was able to make out a large window. Unlike the others, it wasn't shuttered. Now, what do we have here? Drapes? I see a little light beyond. My chances were slim, I imagine, but if there was even a slight possibility of getting some light in here, it was worth a shot. So I pulled open the drapes, and let me check the log just to make sure. I feel like after that change, it should be fine. Like there shouldn't be any weird things going on. Yeah. I feel like the log should have calmed down now after this whole thing. Yeah. Recognize this. The next moment, faint but colorful light shone down on me. It was a stained glass window. From beyond the glass, I could hear the subtle pitter-patter of rain. It had finally started, it seemed. The different colors of light blended into a milky white, dim, but wondrous. It's so pretty. It looks like an angel? Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. A little more light, it'd be... Please, do not touch the drapes. And is this Michel? Or the windows? Suddenly, I heard a voice, and I could sense someone else in the room. The man's voice was emotionless, neither deep nor high. Before long, he came to view, illuminated by a dull orange candlelight. There he is. Uh, um, I, I'm sorry for coming in uninvited, but, I did announce myself. The man stood there, practically blending in with the darkness. And he'd been there the whole time? I'm really curious what's the difference between the story she told and the actual story. Because the painting was saying like that one was too beautiful to be true or something like that. So something tragic, even more tragic happens in this one to the point that she does not want to remember. But I wonder what could have changed so much. The man stood there, practically blending with the darkness. Had he been there the whole time? He was staring straight at me. His gaze wavered slightly, but not enough for me to read anything in it. Then again, I could hardly make out any detail at all under the light of a single candle. Is this, your mansion? It is. Thank goodness, I was afraid it was deserted. I suspect you would have preferred it if the house were abandoned. Oh, not at all. I would have been scared to death staying in this dark mansion all by myself. I'm sorry. No it was intended. But do you think you could do with some light? That way, you could see where you're walking. You don't really need to take a candle all around. I'm sure this room would look splendid illuminated. Not necessary. I make do perfectly well as things are. How can you see when it's so dark? Do you not see the candle in my hand? I have an abundance of candles and oil for lamp. I am not in want of means of creating light. It is not your place to criticize my lifestyle. Here. If you need light, you're free to leave. If you're in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. There's a village not far from here. Trade it for food and make your way to a larger town. Yeah, the exact same lines. I'm no longer able to freely return to the city. Cannot go back there, you see. Please, don't chase me out. I see. And do you ask this of me? Oh, hold up. Do you ask this of me? Aware of how people refer to this mansion? They say that a witch lives here. Not merely a witch. Cursed witch. You remain here, you too shall likely suffer at your own destruction. Your words for my well-being? Witch or not, my mind's made up. I was sent to this cursed witch's mansion to atone for my transgressions back in the city. What transgressions? It didn't matter what lived here. I had no choice. Which will strike you first, I wonder? Regret or the curse? You seem to be doing just fine. Only a tale. The witch is real. Very much so. It is not a legend, nor a fairy tale. The witch's name was Morgana. me. Yes, that was our first encounter. It was nothing flowery, or dramatic. It was rather laced with suspicion and wariness. We knew nothing about one another, and I had no interest in changing that. But nonetheless, that was where it all began, where my history with her commenced. Giselle with Morgana, I believe. That's what you. Look at that. Now, this part is different. The woman had jade eyes, open wide. They glimmered like jewels in the light shining through the stained glass window. He seemed to be at a loss for words. I wasn't lying, Percy. The rumors said that a witch lived in this house, and I was the only one who filled that criteria. Thus, that rumors could be interpreted to be talking about me. After staring at me dumbfounded for a few moments, the woman suddenly burst into laughter. Oh, wow. Here was thinking you were kind of scary, and turns out you're actually quite fun. Oh, wait. We switched? Now we're from his angle? Let me see. Yeah, maybe this where my history with her commenced. Maybe that's Michel saying. The rumor said a witch lived in the house, and I was the only one who filled that criteria. Okay. What? Never would have guessed you were someone to tell such a ridiculous joke with a straight face. I wasn't. You don't look at all like a witch. I mean, it's dark and I can't really see, but you seem to me like a rather handsome man. Hmm. The word witch. The word witch has broader meaning than just a woman who practices magic. Any unholy person with cursed powers, man or woman, can be considered a witch. I think I get what you're trying to say, but my mental image of a witch is definitely more of a woman. Same here. So you're not a witch. Tell you the truth, I didn't know who might be here, which had me rather scared. But I think I can make this work. What do you... It's a pleasure to meet you, Master. Oh, and there it starts. Master? I was sent here from your old home. And there we go. Now we're starting to get some difference in the story. I wasn't a big deal for your mother, but, well, I might have made a little goof. Froze the moment the word left her mouth. Home. It rattled around in my skull, taking up terrible memories that almost brought me to my knees. Why, after all these years, were they reaching out to me now? And not even sending someone to bring me back. Just sending someone. For what end? For what purpose have they shipped an Abigail out to this remote mansion? What was my mother thinking? Was this another one of her attempts to break my curse? What do me and you made a little goof? My voice came out weak. I did my best not to let it show on my face. It was a teeny tiny mistake, you know. Nothing much. Nothing you need to concern yourself with. What did Mother say to you about me? Well, it was actually your father who told me to come here. I never really spoke to your mother much. Father sent you? That made even less. Why would he have? Did father even know I was here? No. If he had known, I would have been. Who was this woman? And what was her goal in asking to stay here? Oh, there you have it. I'll be here for a while. That makes her a bit suspicious. If you need me for anything, do not hesitate to ask. I'm confident I can handle most everyday tasks. Now, where should I begin? Oh, I know. Are you hungry, Master? Food. I can't imagine you eat much, being as skinny as you are. Hmm. I turned my back on her without responding. No matter what her goal was, she had been sent from the house. There was no way anything good could come of that. And there was no way I could live with someone who has ties to them. I prayed she would take the hint, give up, and leave. Master. And so, I kept ignoring her. Master, Master. I ignored. Master. Ignored her. Master, what would you like for supper? Nothing. But failed, leaning back and shouting. Her eyes went wide, and then she gave a sheepish giggle. I glared at her as she fidgeted uncomfortably. Eating is one of the most basic human needs, so if you're hungry, you should really eat. I said I didn't want. Well, somebody's hungry. What was that sound? Must you ask? That's not a very polite thing to ask a lady, you know? Huh? I, was a long trip. I know I had to eat on the road was dried fruit. I felt like it was some kind of animal. So, what I'm trying to say that I'm hungry. That wasn't the sound of her stomach growling, was it? I thought lightning had struck in the distance. And would like some supper. The kitchen is at the far end of the hall on the first floor. There's food in the cellar. Help yourself to any of it. Thank you so much. I honestly feel like I haven't eaten in days, and I'm about to die of starvation. Oh, and I shouldn't need any help finding it. I plan on exploring the house anyway. Rather exciting, being a new place. Ugh, damn it. That did not go as I planned. Oh well. You can do as she pleases. I'll have nothing to do with it. Oh, Master, are you sure you don't? No. Master? Master. What is it now? My name is Giselle. It's a pleasure to meet you. And your name, Oh, Master, you. I actually left the room that time. My way back to my chambers. At some point, would seriously have to chase her out. Especially considering she had come from the house. But regardless, I was not terribly fond of her. Didn't really understand, and then oh, okay, I understand now. The flowers. This is an indicator of who were following. The reddish pinkish flowers were following Giselle's point of view, while the blue ones are from Michel's point of view. Okay, now it's starting to make more sense. I didn't really understand Michel, but that was probably because we were still essentially strangers. Having been sent to the mansion as reparation for my mistakes, I wasn't sure who I might find here, but I was tentatively convinced he wasn't a terrible person. He didn't do anything to me, except stay away. Michel spent most of his time in his chambers, which he had told me to never enter under any circumstances. So we rarely encountered one another in the halls. For that reason, I made an effort to be kind and cheerful on the sporadic occasions we did cross paths. I figured if I kept that up long enough, he would eventually warm up to me. And as new housemates, being able to enjoy our time together was obviously preferable to the alternative. If I did manage to break the ice, I hope we would be able to do some talking about the mansion, about him, about me. I just had to keep working at it. Michel didn't need me to take care of him. He handled his own day-to-day needs and activities by himself, and in fact, he didn't ask me for anything. An aristocrat who had no use for his servant. Hadn't met anyone like him before. Alright then. That meant about all I could do was clean. I wasn't sure how this room looked, but the rest of the house was quite frankly an absolute disaster. The dust was so heavy, it was obvious it hadn't been touched in years. Let's get started. It would be healthy to live in these conditions, so I set out to clean each room in the house one by one. That said, it wasn't going to be an easy task, not because I was bad at cleaning. In fact, I considered myself quite good at it, but because it was near impossible to find all the dust, grime that needed cleaning under the flickering light of candles. I can't understand how can anyone sane can live in the darkness. What's wrong with him? Maybe he's actually a vampire. Oh god, wouldn't that be something? I can see it now. Him sneaking out every night to suck the blood of pretty girls. Priceless. Ugh, that means I'm in trouble. Look at me, Miss One-Woman Comedy Show here. Yep. If I am able to get him to warm up to me, though, maybe they'll give me a little more room to make some change. Like opening some windows. No light and no fresh air. No thank you. Anyway, set the candlestick down, pulled over a chair to stand on, and started wiping down the shelf. The chair legs seemed to be uneven as it wobbled slightly beneath me. So many books. I wonder, they all belong to him. I knew parchment was expensive, so it was rather astonishing seeing this many stacked up in one place. There were even some books with bulky, extravagantly decorated covers. He does come from an esteemed family after all. I'd spent enough time at his family house. It was a constant bustle of servants and guests, the exact opposite of what this mansion was like. Why had he left the house? What had he done to be sent all the way out here to this remote mansion with a less than savory reputation? Be careful not to overstep my bond or my bounds, though. I am a servant now. A servant. But once the thought had crossed my mind, I couldn't get it out. I'd always had a bad tendency to chase my curiosity as soon as they struck. Question to scratch the itch no matter how much my actions annoyed others. I couldn't do that here though. I was simply a servant. When I got on Michel's bedside, I risked getting thrown out. I wonder what kind of books he's gotten into there. Here. So, I attempted to correct myself. I grabbed one of the books and attempted to pull it out. What? But the strings binding the parchment must have gotten tangled at the back. Whoa! Because the books on either side tilted back with it. Ah! And then, the entire rope came crashing down to me. Deja vu. Because I'm pretty sure that happened to me twice already in the story before this. Ow. Oh, for Christ's sake. And falling off the chair, and the downpour of books was still coming down on me. A mountain of dust with it, too. Seriously? What are you doing? What? Suddenly, Michel was there, looking down on me from a little ways away. There was... Sorry about that. There was, as usual, not much I could read from his expression, but I could hear a faint trace of exasperation in his voice. I was doing some cleaning and must have worked. I'm usually better than this. It's just so dark. Mistakes should be expected. I really think we should open some windows, Master. Get some light, some air flowing through here. Never asked you to clean anything. You did this entirely yourself. But there's so much dust. It can't be good for you. I am perfectly healthy. Don't see the problem. Had he even seen himself? No way someone that skinny was perfectly healthy, as he put it. You look like you have something to say. Yep, make out my face in the darkness. Oh, you know, I wanted to be useful, and cleaning is about all I can do here. You know. I was sensing something else, but alright. He let out a sigh, stepped over towards a pile of books, and then reached his hand down for me. I suddenly felt a pang of embarrassment about the fact that I was still splayed out on the floor. But I raised my hand, take his, only for him to pick up a book instead. You, you could at least help me up. You have legs, he said, casually returning the book to the top shelf. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he was a terrible person. And now we're going for Michel's side. See, now he's looking at her. So, master, all this book's yours? Giselle asked, not a trace of remorse visible on her face, despite having made a mess of the room she was supposedly trying to clean. He gave a Carol note. And gave a curt nod. Really? That's impressive. Must have been hard work getting them all in here, huh? There's got to be 100 books here. There's got to be 100 books here. It could be a whole carriage at least. Like you got your own personal library. She had been pouting only a few moments earlier, but her smile was back in short order. Her jade eyes were like little balls of curiosity, glittering in the faint candle. I was not particularly fond of overly expressive, rather overly curious women. Did they not care that they trampled uninvited into other people's personal parties? Did they not care about the trampled uninvited into other people's personal space? Or were they not even aware that their actions were invasive? Averted my gaze from hers. I received one roughly every 2 months. Ah, I see. I see. Wait. Oops. That's what happened. I accidentally clicked here. I turned back towards the shelves. I presume she understood the implications of what I had just said. Of the fact that there were nearly 100 tomes here. I receive about only one per month. Huh. Giselle fell silent. I couldn't blame her if she thought my circumstances, or my family, or my life bizarre. But I didn't care what she thought of me. In fact, it was to my advantage for her to be uncomfortable. I just needed her to stay quiet, keep her nose out of my business. Here's more than I thought. I said, not to her, but to myself. I had no reason to count the passage of time anymore. Only the books served as a record of how long I had been here. Oh, 120? What? There are 120 books. 10 years and 1 month. You, you were counting? Thought she had sheepish gone quiet. What an inscrutable woman. You've been here in the mansion for that long? All by yourself? The truth was, there has been times when I wasn't alone. But Giselle had no need to know of that. You already know the answer. A look of pity formed in Giselle's eyes. Enough. Enough. I never asked for her sympathy. I'm here. I am here by choice. You mean you weren't banished here? Now restrains this woman. No. I came here of my own volition. I didn't care enough to elaborate though. Didn't care enough to elaborate though. Picking another book up off the floor, I brushed the dust off its cover. It was a gaudily decorated tome. That's a very fancy book, isn't it? But apparently, Giselle wasn't able to take a hint. What's it about? I let out a sigh and opened to no page in particular, tickling the book out towards her. There was a servant and a woman. There was no way she could read. Wow, so a woman can't read in this era, huh? Let's see here. This land is hardly suitable for cultivation. You can only produce over sour grapes. I would probably get more out of it if I tore down the fields and made it into a market. Okay, I think of the story the other one did not know how to read. The other Giselle, the white-haired one, sounds like a lord's diary. You can read? I was caught slightly off guard. It was rare for a noble woman to be able to read and write, let alone the servant. Was she truly what she claimed to be? And someone teach me. So, I had someone to teach me. So, is this book any interesting? It's dull, worthless crap. I can't imagine. Can't imagine why anyone thought it was worth buying. Tough crowd. It's not very often you get to see a Lord's Diary. I'm rather curious what kind of things he griped about. Lord or king? What value was there in another's grumbling? There was no knowledge contained within that book. There was just emotions, unsightly desire. There was no knowledge contained within that book, just emotions, unsightly scribbles. There was nothing more exhausting in this world than being emotional. You want to read it? Be my guest. That wasn't my intention, but alright. Once I got the whole mansion clean, I'll read it. Told you, you'll have to clean. Oh, I got an idea, Master. For interest, maybe we could read together? Did you hear a word I just said? It's dull, worthless Still, you might see it differently if you read it with someone else. Sure, there are some books here you would enjoy, Master. You're wasting your time. Okay, I'm gonna be stopping here. We're exploring Giselle's and Michel's relationship almost a second time, I guess, with some slight changes, such as Giselle is the black-haired maid. Um, in this case, she is considering herself. She is a maid. She knows how to read, and we're actually getting the point of view of both of them, and not just hers. Because I think that one we all got it just her point of view. I wonder what else the story is gonna differ in the future, as we having those slight points right now. But I'm interested to see the real story behind the fairy tale. But that is all for today, and with that being said, see you next time. Bye!
Set the scene in a local